This video is only one part of an in-depth review, so check out the rest at thegoodride.com. Thanks for watching. Welcome to The Good Ride. I'm James Beastie, and I have the Snowtrooper here under pretty lights. Next to it is the Ripper, the Proto Ultra, not very comparable. The triple Camber twin LTD, but I'm primarily going to be talking about the Snowtrooper and the Ripper. I rode this with Burton Kendos and my Union Atlas. Got this in some late spring conditions, but they were really fun. They didn't look that good, but they were good. To give you a short summary, the Snowtrooper is a very easy turning, forgiving, all mountain / one board quiver kind of ride that you can set up centered, ride with a mountain freestyle kind of personality, then set it back and get a little more directional float, kind of like a free ride board. So I love boards like this and like the 2022 Ripper because they're very easy to recommend. It really doesn't compare as well to the True Twins and Never Summer's line, but a lot of people will be looking at it, and my advice to you is if you want a board you can set back and powder, don't get those. Take a look at the Snowtrooper, the Ripper, and the Peacemaker. Now when it comes to sizing, I like this 56. It felt great. I think maybe going up a size might be fun too, but it worked well enough with my weight and really well with my boot size. When it comes to shape, it's kind of twinish, directional twin. It felt a little less twin than the Ripper next to it, and definitely less twin than all the True Twins and Never Summer's line. But it still had a good centered feel, and when you set it back, it kind of changed the personality a little bit, felt a little more directional, a little more turny, and that was kind of fun. Now when it comes to the camber profile, this is one of the last of the rocker and camber profiles. It has a very mellow elliptical camber and then a lot of rocker. If you compare that to the Ripper next to it, that has the ripsaw camber profile, so it's just a little more augmented camber, a little less rocker, but they still have a very similar feel underfoot that gets kind of loose and auto-spinny and harder snow. You kind of always have to keep it on edge for it to 1 foot well off a chair or get down a long flat cat track. But as the snow softens up, this board gets more stable. It's very easy to skid a turn. It's very forgiving. It's great for people who get off their game a lot. A beginner can handle this if you're willing to commit price point wise, but this is a great intermediate, beginner, advanced board kind of ride. Now let's talk flex here. You got a nice medium flex. It's a little stiffer in the nose and tail, and it's got a nice twist to it. You can really get this to twist a good bit. Compare that to the Ripsaw. Definitely looking at a stiffer flex. So this medium flex combined with a rocker underfoot really makes it easy to butter, and it breaks in the middle really well. You can lean back on the tail or lean forward on the tip and just feel this board just bend, and it butters really well. In comparison to the Ripper here, it's definitely a little less work, but both are very buttery for their flex. Now when it comes to pop, yeah, this doesn't have the pop of the Ripsaw camber profile in the Ripper next to it, but it's still got a lot of energy, it's got good pop, and it's really easy to access that pop. Now when it comes to speed, this isn't the fastest board out there, and with this rocker camber profile you can get a little bit of that what I call clown shoe effect, where the tip and tail bounce around a little bit more than you would like. But Never Summer has such a good construction with their boards. They feel so rubbery and damp. They really quiet it down by the time it gets to your feet, and it's a really fun board for riding in all conditions. It can't really power over stuff at higher speeds like the Ripper can next to it. That's better at that, but going over stuff and turning through stuff, dealing with micro bumps, medium-sized bumps, and just messy tracked up into the day snow, This just handles it all well as long as you're at a slower speed. And Never Summer just has a really nice balance between being excessively damp and rubbery, but still being really poppy and energetic. And not many other companies are close to these guys when it comes to balancing pop and dampness for all conditions riding. The base glide's pretty good too, carries its speed pretty well. Now when it comes to edge hold, I felt like the Ripper was a little better gripper, but the Snowtrooper did a pretty good job, and it's a pretty good board for all conditions that you want to ride in. Nobody wants to really ride in hard to icy snow, but sometimes you have to, and if you do, you might want the Ripper. Now when it comes to turning, this has pretty quick turn initiation. It's not super quick, but it's medium fast, and I felt like it went whenever I needed it to be somewhere, it went there, and that was fine. Obviously I'm on Atlases, those are pretty responsive bindings, but I've ridden this in the past with less responsive bindings and it still did a very good job. Now when it comes to the turning experience and carving, you can still carve, but the rocker combined with that mellow camber in the tip and tail kind of hurry you up through the turn a little more than the Ripper and the Proto Ultra. Even the triple camber twin was more fun because it had one extra camber bump, but it's not bad and it's very doable and you can get used to it. You just have to kind of lean back and get a little more weight over that camber to get it to kind of hold through the turn, but it's doable. Turning radius and turning experience is really balanced too. You can do all kinds of turns with this, but it's more of a mellow board. Now when it comes to powder, I've had powder with this in the past and I think it does a pretty good job. It's actually got more setback on board than the Ripper. After trying the Peacemaker, that board has so much directional float with that setback insert. So they have 6 inserts and then an extra 2 inserts in the back. So if you have a full-size disc, you can set that so much further back than the Ripper and the Snowtrooper and way more than all the other twins in Never Summer's line and get really exceptional directional float, kind of like up there with a lot of freeride boards. These are both really good. I would say the Snowtrooper's a little better than the Ripper, but the Ripper's pretty good too. And it's nice to have that kind of setback, but I would love to have setback inserts on the Ripper and the Snowtrooper just like you do with the Peacemaker. That would make it amazing. Now ride and switch, very doable. Ripper's a little better, and all the Never Summer twins or ASM twins are even better than that, but very doable, very fun to throw it around either way and play around. And if you want to do this a lot and learn switch, this would be a good board, especially if you want something that you can still set back and powder. Now when it comes to just park play, you're not talking to the right guy for this, but I could see how this tracks really well into small little bumps that I launched off of, or I wouldn't say launch, but little bumps that I went off when I was riding around the mountain, and it had a very forgiving landing, and I could see how this would do really well in the park. I think this could even jib a little bit, where the Ripper, if you know how to jib, you can do it, but I think most people, if you want to hit a box, play around with jibbing, but still want a mountain board, it's the Snowtrooper or the Peacemaker. That would be even better. So overall, I like the Snowtrooper. It's been in Never Summer's line for a long time. It hasn't really had a lot of changes, but it was fun to get back on it and compare it to a lot of the newer rides that are in their line. It's not as dynamic and poppy and better turning as the Ripper, but it's more forgiving by a little bit. It's more mellow, more buttery, more playful, more park oriented, but it still has that setback on board for powder days, so maybe this could work for you. All our reviews are a best effort, objective opinion from an average rider's perspective. There's no brand oversight, and we're free to say whatever we want. We send back everything unless it's a favorite, then we ask to keep those or straight up buy them. Now if you need advice, fill out the MeHarmony profile in the Contact Us section of the site. It's the only way I can help you properly. If you want to support us, and if what we reviewed appeals to you, it helps if you buy through our links. So thanks for watching.